That's good. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. My name is Sarang Desai, and I'll be presenting my internship capstone experience. So just to start, a little bit about the purpose of this internship and my duties here. So the first one was to explore the field of computer science, especially focusing on data-centric software development. So in high school, we don't get a lot of experience with how we can apply what we learn to the real world. So this internship really helped with that. And then we also wanted to become acquainted with industry technologies, programming, and how really to work together as a team in a DevOps team. So again, like these industry technologies we use in T-Mobile, we don't get hands-on experience at school. And finally, to understand T-Mobile as a company beyond just being a self-service provider to how it's expanding as a brand. So a little bit about me first. I graduated from Wheeler High School in the Magnet program where we had a really STEM-focused curriculum. I'll be going to Georgia Tech in the fall to pursue my bachelor's in computer science with a focus on AI. And then I want to go into software development, particularly in big data. And finally, I want to go back to Georgia Tech to get my MBA. So a little bit about the team I worked with. I worked with the marketing and digital DevOps team under Enterprise Data Solutions. So what my team does is that they partner with business to provide end-to-end data solutions that enable valuable analytics and insights by leveraging data as an asset. They do this by focusing on meeting user requirements to achieve business goals, and they build technological data platforms to store, curate, and leverage data for tactical and strategic decisions. So what my team basically does is that they take in the data that T-Mobile gets every day and manipulate it and take the power from it to give to business to make their data-driven marketing decisions. So I'll talk about a little bit of what I learned in regards to technology, processes, and just T-Mobile as a company. So the first two technologies I got some experience with were Hadoop and Teradata. So my team uses Hadoop to take in the data initially and store it, and they transfer it to Teradata to process it and meet those user requirements. Then I learned a little bit about cloud computing, specifically in Microsoft Azure and AWS, and how these technologies are cost-effective and easily scalable, and how they also provide a multitude of different analytics services to help manipulate, transform, and use this data as much as we can. Finally, I gained a little bit of hard coding skills too, especially in Python and SQL. These are two languages I've never worked with before, and I thought it was really interesting to learn them in this corporate setting so I could see how we can use these languages to solve real-world business problems. Next, I learned about some processes. I learned about some software development concepts, such as the DevOps team structures, and how it reduces the time to market for certain products by combining development and operations. So what they do is that they develop, deploy, and support code frequently with close alignment with the user requirements. Then I learned about the agile structure, which involves having iterative developments and 2-week sprints where teams work on all functions of a project. And this, of course, again, reduces the time to market and delivers value faster. Then I learned about a few, okay, what's going on here? There we go. I learned about a few data and quality concepts, learned about the ETL process, which my team uses a lot, and it's transfer, extract, transform, and load. So we'll extract data from the source, transform it according to the user requirements, and then load it to stage tables for business to use. I learned about the ABC process, which stands for audit, balance, and control. It has to do with data quality. So it ensures that the ETL process is executed successfully. So in the audit stage, it'll log the job. In the balance stage, it'll ensure that the correct data has been loaded. And if anything goes wrong, an engineer can take over in the control stage. I learned about the importance of encryption and how it's used to protect sensitive consumer data, such as social security numbers, credit card information. And finally, some miscellaneous processes, such as the batch and streaming process and the CI/CD process. Then I learned a lot about T-Mobile as a company. So before the Explore program, I really only knew 2 things about T-Mobile. I knew that they were a telecom provider, and being a T-Mobile customer myself, of course I knew about T-Mobile Tuesdays. So after Explore, I learned a lot. First, I learned about their other products, such as the Sync Up Drive app, T-Vision, and T-Mobile Money. Then I learned a lot about my own team, EDS Marketing, and how they provide data-driven marketing solutions. And one project in particular I thought was interesting was their I360 marketing campaign, where they're using AI and analytics to provide individualized target marketing campaigns to customers that are interested in T-Mobile products. I learned a lot about T-Mobile's Un-carrier moves and how they're working on disrupting the telecom industry with their unique marketing and branding strategies. I learned about T-Mobile's merger with Sprint and how to expand T-Mobile's capabilities to become the 3rd major telecom competitor in the United States. And finally, a lot about T-Mobile's diversity and inclusion, how they want to be able to work together as a team. So to learn all this, I worked with a different member of my marketing DevOps team every week. So the first week I worked with Balaji and Ray, and the second week I worked with Dilip. Weeks 3 and 4 I worked with Raman. Weeks 5 and 6 I worked with Shrikant S. Week 7 I worked with Ramesh, and this week, week 8, I'll be working with Shrikant C and Uganda. And I also got to work with some NCWs. I worked with Arun, Salaja, Venkatesh, and Harsha. And I'm really grateful for the help these people gave me, because without their help I wouldn't be able to succeed at this internship. I learned a lot from them. So aside from the educational part of this internship, I also got a chance to pursue a project on the side that would help me contribute back to my team. So what was the problem here? The problem here is that the current on-call system my team uses is manual. So every week, all the employees of my team would have to go into an Excel document to see who's on call or whether they're on call themselves. And of course, app support and production rely on this on-call system for reaching out to a member of the team in case of any emergencies. So this manual process can always lead to confusion and miscommunication, and it can throw off the whole cycle of things. So what's the solution here? The solution here was to automate this system. So with the help of another intern, we created a system to automatically notify who is on call through email and to create a user interface to show the entire on-call schedule. So how do we do this? First, we got an Excel table with the start date and the end date of the on-call period, the names of the people on call, and all their emails. Then we uploaded it to 2 different SQL databases, and then we developed the code. So this was the hardest part for me because I don't have experience in Python and SQL, but these 2 languages were the best languages to code this in. So we had to create a code that would check the date, and if it was the day before an on-call period started, we would send out a warning email to the people who were on call. And then if it was the day of an on-call period starting, we would send an email to those people again saying that they're officially on call. So I thought it was really cool how we could use these languages together to work with the database. Then we uploaded it to the servers, scheduled it to run every day, and on the correct days it'll send out an automatic email and generate a user interface to show the entire schedule. So here's a quick demo. So we'll run the program, and then we'll wait for the email. And right now it's checking for the day and deciding whether to send a warning email or an email that will tell you whether you're on call or not. Then it'll list the email, the people that are on call, and their managers, the start date and the end date, and then clicking on that, it'll pull up the user interface that will show the entire on-call schedule here. So what are some benefits this offers to the company? Well, first, it'll lower the chance of miscommunication because app support, production, and DevOps teams will always stay informed about who to reach out to. Next, the easily readable UI allows employees to know exactly when they're on call in case they need to plan for future events. Some future improvements we want to make to this: we want to swap and change names directly in the user interface. We want to allow the people on call to acknowledge their duty just using a button on the email. And finally, we want to merge all the information into one database. So my overall experience with T-Mobile, what I gained is, I gained a lot of information from this internship. I learned a great deal about the power of data and how much power data really has and how we can take it and use it to make data-driven business decisions that can really make or break some parts of a company. I learned a lot about the use and purpose of different enterprise technologies and how they work together to keep a team running. I learned a lot about coding principles, especially in Python and SQL, a lot of new terms pertaining to big data, and a great deal about T-Mobile as a company. Some suggestions I have for future internships is to maybe take it slower at the start because I had a hard time getting caught up with all the all the information and all the technologies that T-Mobile uses, and to have a collaborative intern project where all the interns, maybe in Atlanta, can pull together their skills and solve a problem here at T-Mobile. All right, thank you for listening.